Surviving Reality contains explicit content full of snark and sarcasm that may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to Surviving Reality.
I'm Corey.
And I'm Carly, and we are here rounding out Season 8 of Love is Blind. This is episodes 13 and 14, the weddings and the reunion. Gonna package them all up into one.
Probably going couple by couple. There's a couple of couples that have some crossover.
That have uncoupled.
Uncoupling and decoupling and recoupling that has happened too at some of the reunion tidbits that we learned.
Right off the bat, I have complaints about this show.
Okay.
This is how I feel at the end of every season. Is it just me, guys? Or does everyone else get so frustrated at the end of a season that when you go and you watch another one, you're like, why am I doing this to myself yet again? But I feel like they never tell us the full context of what has been going on in these relationships until after the wedding day.
I am now questioning my judgment on everything because I had my assessment of a lot of these people and a lot of these couples going into the end of the weddings episode. And then you go online and you see other people's takes, and I don't agree with a lot of them.
Not just the takes, but then all of the information that was kept off the show. It's like there's just an entire different show occurring on the internet. So let's get into it because we left off with Ben and Sara.
This is one of the ones where there seem to be a lot of Ben defenders online, and I don't get it.
Let me tell you, this man came into this show with a plan and he executed on it perfectly because the wannabe trad wives on TikTok are so ready to DM him.
They're just ready for a church-going, average-looking Joe.
And I don't think that's who he is anyway.
No.
I am convinced that he has portrayed himself to be a very different person than the Ben that lives in the real world.
But we don't know who Ben is, and that's the problem. Neither does Sara.
All right. There's so much. Let's get into it because we will talk about what happened at their wedding, and then we will just talk about what happened with them at the reunion.
We left off where it was the exact moment where Sara was going to make her decision. They're standing at the altar.
It didn't seem like it was going to be good.
She looked like she had been thinking, and she looked like there were some regrets that this was not going to be easy, but it is something that needs to happen here.
So she ultimately says no.
No, thank you.
She gets to speak first. She says no, and he seems completely unfazed. He's like, that's cool. Well, we'll just keep dating after this, right?
Don't hold me to it, I guess. That's something we can think about maybe as a possibility, perhaps. But I don't want to commit it to anything at this point in time. Thanks for participating, though.
So I was going to rip him apart for standing up there completely vacant of reaction to what she said.
That didn't throw me off as much because it seemed to fit where he didn't let her know who he was. He didn't let her in. So there was no emotion to the rejection. So that I wasn't as thrown off by because it seemed to fit where he kind of was just in this relationship with Sara.
Well, I saw Ben do some type of interview, whatever he's doing on the fucking internet. He's out here
clapping cheeks and dropping cards, you know?
Not yet.
He's trying.
He's trying. But he talked about the fact that they told each other beforehand what their decision was going to be, and they both said no. So he knew when she walked down the aisle that that's what she was going to say.
I get the feeling that she said no. She told him, my answer's going to be no. And he went, yeah, me too. Same. Because if she had said yes, he absolutely would have said yes.
First of all, I didn't know that that's something that they can do. You can talk about your decision beforehand.
That seems like
isn't that against the rules?
Not against the rules, but in that kind of, maybe I'm just mixing up Married at First Sight too, because that's always the thing is like going into decision day where sometimes people are a no until they go into the decision day, and then they say yes, and then the other person's still like, it's still a no for me. So those don't work out. Maybe it was something like that was kind of polluting my mindset for this, because I think that's what Married at First Sight is. It's very toxic at this point.
And so is this show.
This show ain't much better, guys.
No. And it lacks more background checks than Married at First Sight. I'm pretty sure. Although they've had their cast of characters as well.
Yeah, that's saying something.
So the reason that she says she said no was obviously the issue with their values. But really, what it boiled down to was there was a lack of curiosity from Ben when she would talk about these things or ask him about what he thought. It was just like drawing blood from a stone.
There's just a void, emptiness in the responses that he has. And we were picking up on the parroting that was going on too, where he would ask her what her thoughts are. And then she would put together all of these ideas that she has and thoughts and feelings and the way that she's processed through things. And this is the conclusion that I've reached. And then he just goes, yep, same, me too. Like he's doing a group project at community college and he's just putting his name at the end of this. Whatever report it is that she's drawing up, she's worked on it all semester long, stayed up late nights, thought about it, researched it, and he's just going to slap his name on there.
Co-signing on
stand up in front of the teacher the next week in class and try to fudge his way through this presentation.
This is why I'm so confused by the conversation that's taking place, especially on TikTok. People are ripping Sara apart for these values being so important to her that she would choose to not be with someone.
You mean like my core beliefs?
Right. But hold on. This is what I'm going to say. Simultaneously,
yes,
there's also a group of the audience, which there is some crossover from the people coming after Sara and then the people defending Ben, who will say, well, Ben's belief system, he wants to go to church. This is what he believes in. He needs a woman who has the same values and beliefs.
See, that's what bothers me, is where it's like a show your work of how you get to this answer, because we agree they were not compatible. Sara and Ben, not on the same wavelength, not a good couple, not a good relationship, not a basis or a foundation for a successful marriage.
And that doesn't mean that all people are doomed to not be able to have a relationship because they don't have aligned values on everything.
No, but the way that they were communicating, that was the main takeaway. Sara made that abundantly clear. The way they talked about the things that they didn't agree upon, that just made it weirder. So for her, she wasn't really into that. He seemed to be kind of okay with it still in a lot of different ways, and he was willing to move past it. I think he thought that he would be able to convince her to just do these things.
Values?
Yeah, change her values to just align with him a little bit more, maybe.
I'm not convinced that Ben has any real convictions. That's probably why he can't fully understand why these things are a big deal for Sara.
And that's why it's hard to get a read on him in a lot of these scenarios that we find him in.
He admitted in something that I watched that he was afraid of saying the wrong thing, so he didn't say anything.
In the pods, when he was talking about social activism and where he stands on a lot of political and social issues. Afraid to say the wrong thing because what you believe and what you think and what you feel might not line up with her worldview. You might be looking at this stuff very differently.
Okay, I'm going to play devil's advocate. Also, if you're just not very well educated on certain topics, you're not going to feel confident talking about them. But you weren't being fully honest about that with her, and she could sense that you didn't feel comfortable talking about these things for some reason.
And the hesitation that comes from that, he was then assuring her, oh, I'll look into it. I'll do some research. I'll figure out these things, and then we can land on that. But I have a pretty good base. Trust me, bro, was his pitch to her in the pods, which she accepted at that time because, okay, sure, let's see how it goes. And then obviously, none of that panned out. He didn't do any other research. He didn't ask her any other questions. There was no follow-up. There was no other decision-making that was involved for where they were ending up together here.
And trust me, bro, doesn't really work when she's finding out that you're dropping your business card on Your one night stands, nightstands.
One nightstand.
That was confusing
That's
to say.
hard. That's tough.
It didn't come up in the wedding episode, but it did come up in the reunion that she did find out about that. And she sat and thought about that for about 2 weeks and decided maybe I don't really know who Ben is.
Oh, I thought it was like 4 days before the wedding. I thought she found out.
I feel like she said different timelines in
Okay.
different interviews. But she had thought about it for a period of time that this is the same person that I've been talking to, but it doesn't feel like the person I've been talking to.
I think it was a mix. That was the struggle. That was what she'd been thinking about leading up to the wedding decision day. That was what she had mainly been struggling with. This was like the straw that broke the camel's back because 4 days before the wedding, you find out about the business cards.
Also, let's not even call it a business card.
No,
Is it technically, did he purchase a business card when he printed it? Yes. But this is
There's
a
no
promotional card for his YouTube channel.
There's no
which
business.
just adds to the douchiness of it.
There's no corporate structure. There's no, it's.
Does he even still have that YouTube channel?
I didn't look it up.
Did he think he was going to get subscribers? Like leaving them for people?
Why would you do that?
Because you're a dick.
I don't.
That's why you would do that.
Well, I mean, I'm just trying to think through. I was single in my early 20s. I didn't date around. I didn't do bar scenes. I didn't do
you
any
didn't
of
have
that
a business
stuff.
card.
I didn't have a business card. But I don't think that I would ever want to do that. I can't understand the motivation to do that.
Good. That's why I married you.
What's the what is what is there to gain from this? Nothing good.
No, it's just a dick move. You slept with this guy from this YouTube channel. Here's your memento. Like a serial killer. That's what he's leaving behind.
It doesn't make sense, and I don't like to think about it too much.
Let's not. I don't
Yeah.
think Ben thought about it very intensely. Intensely?
Well, maybe I think I'll have to look it up because it's like, is he trying to do is this a delayed version of negging or what was that douchebag book? Remember in the early 2000s, the guy with it was the girl's face scribbled out on the cover of the book, and it was all about
the guy
how to be
the
a
pickup
D-bag.
artist.
Yeah, the pickup artist. That was it. So is he trying to do that sort of thing as like a YouTube channel?
I feel like we need to talk about the pickup artist on a Let's Talk About It episode, but I think I've tried to find the episodes in the past and that they're erased from the internet.
Oh, they would not get picked up on any network now. Yeah, they wouldn't let that happen.
I think Dave watched the pickup artist because that explains the hat that was in his closet. Let's stick here a little longer and talk about the reunion.
I'm not ready. Because I think I'm still upset with Ben. Still upset.
I have to apologize to Vanessa Lachey.
Why?
She annoys me every season when we get to the reunion, but she was holding people accountable with the questions this time because they asked Ben about, not remembering his church's stance on gay marriage. Let's revisit and elaborate on that. And the answer wasn't good. I think this further illustrates Sarah's point because his explanation is, I just either I wasn't in church that one day that they covered that topic, or I just didn't clock it because it doesn't personally affect me.
I think that's the problem, Ben. That is the problem.
And also, it affects Sarah's sister.
And it should affect you now if you're seeing a future with Sarah and Sarah's family. So why did we not investigate this a little further?
Did they not roll out his gay bestie in an earlier episode to prove that he has LGBTQ friends?
Well, now we're getting into a dangerous territory because I don't know if his friend was gay.
No, I thought that the friend talked about that. I did not make that up.
Okay.
That happened.
Okay.
Because everybody was accusing him of hiring the friends.
Oh,
and now
boy.
I believe it. Because it affects someone very close to you.
Oh, yes. It was the gal who was sitting next to Sarah.
Okay, thank you. I'm
Wasn't
glad that
it?
we agree that I did
I
not
think so.
completely
I think
make that
okay,
up.
I think I'm remembering now. It's coming back.
Daniel's face when Ben gave that answer.
Well, you can't have two huge things where you just I forgot. I forgot what my stance was on this enormous social topic. No, what do you mean you forgot? That's not an answer. So this is just dancing around. If you're honest and if you were upfront, you guys wouldn't have even paired in the pods. You both would have went home alone. And that's what Ben is terrified of. I think
he wanted to be on TV.
We're getting to the root of this. Ben is just terrified of being alone.
Oh, I don't think he's afraid of being alone.
I think he is.
I think he wanted to get on TV and have a bunch of women sympathize with him and feel like he's a great guy and Sara missed this opportunity and that now they're going to take it. That's what he's looking for. He's filling up his dance card, if you will. That was was a Regency era
if you were born in 1867, then you'll really appreciate that joke.
Oh my God. What else? Okay. The other thing that convinces me he was only worried about how he was going to look on TV was he called Sara 2 weeks before they came to the reunion and wanted to practice their responses because he was expecting they would be asked about their values and social issues.
We have to rehearse for the recital, the reunion, for our dance.
He couldn't practice these answers with ChatGPT.
The most brutal part of this is the whole story where after their wedding day, when Sara said no and Ben kind of agreed, sure, because after the fact, what are you going to say? No, I think we totally should. Whatever. So they did not get married. They were still living together for a few weeks after because
my jaw dropped.
Because Sara was moving to Nashville. She was on contract for work. So she was going to go there for a couple of months and then go back to Minneapolis for work to pick up like her full-time job. So he was going to go to Nashville with her. They were going to live together in Nashville. So she drove out there to Nashville, 12-hour drive, and is expecting Ben to fly out there because he was going to leave his car in Minneapolis and he would just use her car in Nashville while they were there. And dude just dropped out of her life, just disappeared, stopped answering her, sent her these weird apologies, these scripted. Maybe he was using ChatGPT.
He clearly knows how to use AI.
He was copy and pasting all of the things that Sara's been saying into ChatGPT. And he was like, look, I'm going to need you to come up with an apology. Use as many of her words as you possibly can. The phrasing, just make it sound like it's her talking to herself. And then it's going to make this easier to digest, I think. But he just dropped off the map, just disappeared, said, oh, sayonara. I guess it's not going to work out. And Sara's like, well, that's news to me because I was under the impression that you were going to be here tomorrow.
This is who this man is. He waited until she was 12 and a half hours away and she could not come home because she was on this work contract. And that's when he dumped her.
He dropped off.
Mm-hmm. He just ghosted her after that.
He didn't even dump her. So then that's what's bizarre too, is to then tell people, because wasn't he telling people that she ghosted him?
No, that was a different story.
Okay, sorry.
There was a lot of ghosting going on in this reunion.
No, I think there was that accusation. And then she was trying to explain, because then I had thought of the terminology that was being used. Maybe Ben was just holy ghosting her. And so that was different in his mind.
Oh, God. I feel like that's a euphemism that I don't really want to know.
She's not Christian. So he had to ghost her. So he holy ghosted her.
This poor woman is breaking out into hives on the stage. She is so angry and upset that he is continuing to play this fake persona.
I'm so thankful that Sara was able to learn this lesson this way, though, because, I mean, it was a rough way to learn it, but it was a lot of things where her family were like, he doesn't seem authentic. And she's like, no, trust me. I talked to him in the pods. Super authentic, great guy. I can swear by that. I'm learning more and more about him every day, kind of. And then eventually realized, actually, no, I don't think so. He's just kind of repeating things back to me that I agree with, that I've said, that I've confirmed. And so there was some manipulation there.
I'm glad for her that it only lasted, a couple of months?
You didn't have to drag this out. You didn't have to get married to come to the full realization here. So I'm glad she realized it when she realized it. And then for people online who are saying, yeah, it's great that they didn't end up together, I'm going to need to check your work on how you reached that conclusion.
But we do agree on the ultimate outcome.
I agree on the outcome. But then for people who are saying, yeah, because Ben needed to find a better girl for him, I I disagree with that. Disagree.
The men on this season were horrible. Horrific, horrible. I want to combine that.
Terrible.
Except for Daniel, and I'm not even really convinced.
And
I'm like, what are you
just
hiding from me, sir?
Daniel's just a Christmas potato. That's all he is. He's a Christmas tree. He's got a lot of Christmas spirit, but it's like a block of tofu with Christmas lights in it. I'm sorry, Daniel Tiger. I apologize.
We're going to go to the second couple who appeared in the wedding episode. And this one crushed me. And I'm questioning everything that I saw in the past 13 episodes.
Is Joey and Monica?
Joey and Monica.
It's Joey and Monica. Okay, so I have to provide a disclaimer that Joey is going to be my Lisa Barlow.
You did not watch enough TikToks. Did you watch the one I sent you of his Bachelor audition?
Okay, so
this man has tried to be on more than one dating show.
Okay, so here's the thing. I was ready to defend Joey extensively for this episode. I was prepared to do that. When you sent me the TikTok of his Bachelor audition tape, I changed my mind. So I am walking that back.
Okay, I didn't understand when you said he was your Lisa Barlow, because I would defend Lisa Barlow to the death.
See, I was going to, but then there's it's mixed. There's mixed reviews there. I was ready to defend Joey extensively. There are still things about the wedding when people...
Let's not spoil it. Let's talk about it. Let's go, okay? We're getting hyped.
I'm all jacked up. I'm all jacked up on Joey. I've had 8 pounds of sushi, and I'm ready to go. And yes,
you just don't want to give up on the voice.
I don't want to get rid of the voice, but it is just Chris Griffin too. So spoiler alert on that for anybody who was able to hear it.
God. All right, they both seem calm, not excited, which to me was a red flag, because what we've seen of them is they're both very excitable people.
High energy,
giggling throughout the entirety of this season. And yet here we are on their wedding day.
Meh.
And it's kind of, it's a little meh. Her sister is wearing a black gown.
Nicole is really bringing the mood down.
I would not normally say anything except for the fact that it is her sister who has shit on their relationship the entire time, and she's wearing a black dress to the wedding when everyone else is wearing navy blue. But I don't know. Is this justice for Nicole? We're going to get there. Let's hold on to the thought.
Yeah, we have a whole groom room. It's very Tommy Wiseau over there with Joey. He's longboarding in everywhere, basically everywhere. He longboards everywhere.
They're eating subs. They eat everybody's sub. There's a refrigerator in that place was full of food for the grooms, like the suite for the men. It was supposed to last all weekend. They ate all of the subs.
I think they found the sub. Joey he has very Scooby-Doo energy. He's got Shaggy about him.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
And so just swallowing a foot-long sub in one go was kind of his move.
They're wearing floral shirts. He's got on like penguin socks or something.
Yeah, they had eyes on the front, made me uncomfortable.
Now look, I was thinking the whole time, there's personality in this wedding. I think that is a positive. Maybe it means good things. But the resounding opinion from the internet is that he was not taking it seriously.
This is one of those hard ones to gauge too, because it seemed like their big issue, or like the thing that they were most hesitant about, each of them, was they weren't sure if the other person was going to say yes. So that made both of them kind of lean away from each other and go more towards no, because they weren't sure what the other one was going to say.
I kind of think that was more the case for Monica than it was for Joey.
Well, Monica made it very clear that she wanted somebody who absolutely wanted her and wanted to pick her, and Joey didn't seem like he was very sure in this.
Joey's entire approach, his energy for the day is, I'm just going to decide when I get up there.
Well, then why didn't they ask him first? So that bothers me, is that they started the line of questioning with Monica.
Well, you know what they have to do when they isolate them, where we're watching them sit and contemplate their entire past however many weeks in the pods and then what their future is going to be? I don't think they have a clock in there. They don't tell them what time it is. They don't have any idea when a producer is going to come get them to start the wedding. And then I think they ask them questions to get them worked up and nervous. And then they decide who they're going to ask first. They're gauging, how's this going? Who's more nervous? Who's starting to freak out? That's the person who gets to talk first.
Monica was a little too honest in the interview ahead of time because she was saying if Joey said yes, then she would say yes.
So that's why she had to go first.
So then
if you're in production,
yep.
That was when they decided Monica will be the one to speak at the altar first.
Pretty brutal.
The hairdresser, can we talk about this? The hairstylist, like what was happening? There was a lot of teasing going on. It was very distracting. She's trying to talk to her family about what she's going to do. And there's just balls of hair everywhere. And then she's doing both Monica's hair and her sister's hair at the same time because the editing was atrocious.
Either that or...
She's a twin?
It was a set of twins who was doing the hair.
That would be the real twist.
Wow.
That Netflix is like, we put all the time and energy into the goblets, and you think that we didn't catch that?
Continuity. We've got 3 people on the set who look like this lady. We're just going to drop her in on every single person who's getting their hair done.
I saw hairstylists reacting to what she was doing, and they were horrified. It wasn't just Monica's hair. It was everybody's hair that she did.
Yeah, correct.
It was
I'll tell you whose
very
hair,
Fran fine.
I'll tell you whose hair they didn't do. They didn't do Joey's hair. So that bothered me a little bit, where you're not even going to trim it up or style it or do anything, any
very
sort of
Cody
prep for
Brown.
It was,
Cody Brown energy.
Mousse in there and just shake it up.
He longboards into the ceremony, right down the aisle.
Up to the altar, which I was ready to defend. Because, okay, spoiler alert, they don't end up together. Monica says no. They asked her first, and then Joey just kind of agrees with that too. Had it been a yes, people would have been so happy with how happy-go-lucky and fun and energetic and original this wedding day was. It would have been one of those whimsical, look at how original they are kind of moments. So now that it was a no, it's just... Look, they're not even taking it seriously. What a joke.
Well, he seemed very unbothered that he knew he was going to go up there and say no. And he's just casually riding down the aisle in front of everyone.
Was Ben devastated at the altar when Sara said no to him?
No, but he knew the answer. I don't think that these two talked about it beforehand to the point that they told each other what their answer was going to be. What I'm convinced of is that Joey told her he wasn't sure yet and he was going to need a little more time to decide, and that was her answer. If it wasn't a hell yes from him already, that she was going to say no.
That's what's hard about this one. It was seeming like if it was just Joey and Monica, maybe that could have worked. He was attributing a lot of his hesitations to the familial issues that were happening with Monica's sister, Nicole, where there wasn't approval from her. He wasn't feeling that support, and that made him withdraw a little bit. So while they were having some physical intimacy stuff that he was needing to work on too, he's got OCD. He's got, there's these other things, these other components that like, he doesn't have a lot of relationship experience. So it's not something that he's comfortable with. If you're with the right person, yeah, maybe it would be a little bit easier to jump into those situations. So I'm trying to
defend him.
I'm trying to have all of that in mind with that, where I'm thinking through all these different reasons of she was looking at it as, oh, there was no physical affection. He doesn't like me. And he was feeling like that friend zone, but that was kind of the vibe that they had in the pods too, it was just that elementary school relationship.
This is what I saw between them. Monica does not verbalize herself very well when it comes to expressing her emotions. He said that he was shocked that she said, I love you at the altar. That's the first time she's ever said that to him.
Had she said that and he had known that, would that have changed things?
I don't know.
How could you not feel like you're in a friend zone if you're not saying that, or if you're not growing in that relationship like that?
This is my problem with it, is that she was upset that there wasn't a lot of physical connection between them. There wasn't a lot of PDA. He's not very romantic. But then also, you're not expressing how you feel about him. So although you have different problems that you're both running into, it's the same problem in the end, is that you're not showing each other how you feel.
And it comes back to communicating that. How are you communicating that? Because if you're not getting what you need, I think that Monica did do a good job of communicating that to Joey, saying, hey, this is what I'm expecting from this sort of relationship dynamic. And I would like us to be physically affectionate, and doesn't need to be outright aggressive PDA that's over the top by any means, but some sort of physical intimacy or just physical gestures that kind of make me feel wanted in those ways. I think she did a great job of expressing that to Joey. Maybe Joey didn't do a good job of explaining, I need a little bit more of whatever he needs.
Like verbal validation.
Verbal validation, if that's what it is,
Yeah.
or if he needs her to instigate it, and then that way he can be more comfortable with it, whatever it is. But Joey needs to know what Joey needs in order to get there too, because you're doing this together. You're supposed to be. So when Monica's just saying, I need this, and then Joey's saying, okay, I'll try and give that to you, and he's going out of his comfort zone because it's not something that he's used to doing, that's just going to feel like work to him.
I don't know if either of them ever really got out of their comfort zones. That's what all the laughing and giggling, a lot of that was maybe covering up that they weren't getting any deeper in these conversations.
Well, and everything was just silly and fun and
Yeah.
It's all lighthearted. It's not serious, nitty gritty stuff. There wasn't the basis of a long-term relationship here.
The other thing that came up at the reunion is that Joey DM'd Madison when they had that meetup and they got to have the mixer and meet everyone who they hadn't seen out of the pods yet, and Madison came there. He sent her a message or texted her afterwards or something and complimented her pink hair and said that he wished that they had gotten to talk more. And now this is while he's still in a relationship with Monica. They haven't even gotten to the wedding day yet. And she found out about that. I wonder how she found out about that. I am going to come for fucking Madison.
Okay.
Let me tell you, I do not like that she was in everyone's business.
Everyone's.
I don't like that Joey sent her a message, but I also feel like Madison did her best to insert herself into every relationship she possibly could to get screen time at this reunion.
Are you ready for my defense of Joey
Go
sending
ahead.
the message? If you know Madison was in the pods, she had a rough breakup, and then the next time that you see her, the next group setting that you see her at, she has dyed her hair pink in this way, that's a cry for help. You need to check on this person.
I don't think that
is.
Joey, no.
If you have someone close in your life, or just a general acquaintance, a friend that you've made along the way here through this social experiment, and they go through a rough breakup, double breakup, and they dye their hair pink, you need to check on that person.
I don't agree. I think a lot of the men, when they saw her, were like, oh, this is my manic pixie dream girl. And they were into it.
What does not look good is that Joey and Mads did date in the pods for a little bit.
I don't care whether you talk to someone at all. If you meet them in a setting like that, and then you send them a message afterwards and you're in a relationship, it feels like you're opening a door for something with that person, whether it's just a friendship because you're texting them. But given the entire scenario of being on this show, it feels weird.
Well, it seems like if he had brought that up with Monica wouldn't have been happy with that.
No.
Like they would have fought about that. And then that's scary. So then he didn't bring that up because that would have been a real conversation that they would have to have.
Why didn't you just talk to her when you were there?
Well, if
front of
he's having
Monica?
a friend, if he's reaching out to somebody to check on them in a friend.
You're putting a lot into
I'm
that
just
we
saying-
don't know was actually behind it.
Right. And I'm just saying, like, if there is that intention of reaching out to someone to check in on them, because again, pink hair after a breakup, cry for help, check on that person, make sure they're okay.
It wasn't really a breakup. She talked to
was
Alex in the
double.
pods for 2 weeks. I think she's doing okay.
Well, according to her, because it was a mutual breakup, but then people were like, we watched the show. It was not mutual. Nice try.
Do we have anything else to say about them? I guess like Joey didn't seem like he was serious about getting married. This is going back to my point earlier of them withholding things from us. When they met Joey's friends, they told Monica. Joey's never really been the kind of guy who's into marriage, so we were shocked that he came on the show.
And people were catching when he proposed to her in the pods. He said, do you want to get engaged with me?
Right.
He didn't say, do you want to marry me?
That feels like a loophole, and I don't like it. Like
yeah,
you were already setting the trap early.
Yeah, he was thinking ahead on it. So if that, there's too much intent behind that.
Also, if that's the case, that this is a guy who has never really been interested in getting married, or maybe he doesn't really like the idea of marriage, why did you also audition to be on The Bachelor?
We all know The Bachelor is not about love and marriage. So that's fine. That tracks.
So here we go. Maybe another person who's interested in being an influencer. Ruining reality television.
Here's the best way to order 8 pounds of sushi.
Devin and Virginia. I was not excited about watching their wedding, but man, this was a highlight for me.
This was
What
This
happened?
was another one of those.
First of all, she looks beautiful. But
yes,
everybody who interacts with her before the wedding is telling her how happy she looks.
you look so great.
Not you look so great, you look happy. And I have never seen someone look more miserable.
I could tell immediately that this woman was going to say no today. Like, how could you look at her or spend any amount of time with her and think that she's possibly going to say yes?
She is trying to avoid making eye contact with anyone who's speaking to her. When she does look at someone, she looks like she's on the verge of tears. She doesn't sound happy and enthusiastic.
No, every word is pained that she is saying to every single person. It hurts to speak because she just wants to scream and run out of there, is what's going on.
And there are polar opposite experiences, because over with the groom, with Devin, he is smiling ear to ear. This is the best day of his life because he's about to lock this in. He's going to marry above his pay grade, that's for sure.
Well, that's true. Yeah, in a lot of ways.
His niece is going to be a flower girl in the wedding, and I was so worried.
Nobody had the foresight to say, let's check in and see how everybody's doing, and then make an analysis decision to say, maybe we don't have the kid involved.
Yeah, maybe when we're going to a wedding, this isn't a normal wedding.
This
right?
isn't a
Because
sure thing.
they can say no. The whole premise of this is they're going to give an answer about whether they want to get married or not. And now this little girl is so excited to be a flower girl for the first time.
Doesn't go great.
It does not go great. Spoiler.
Doesn't get better.
Then her aunt is going to be officiating.
There's
even more awkward.
There are too many family members directly involved in this ceremony.
If I knew I was going to say no, I'm pretty sure I'd tell my aunt to stay home.
Yeah, just don't even show up.
Just be a guest.
We'll have somebody from the Netflix Love is Blind crew just jump up and be the officiant, because they're not going to have to say much. They're just going to have to read the same bit that they read for every single part of everybody's wedding. Nothing personal.
We even had to watch his family come in and see her in the bridal suite. We didn't get that experience for everybody else, but for this one, we did.
They had to make sure she was still there. They were checking in.
They report back to Devin. Everything's great.
Looking good. All systems go. Terrible reads. Everybody's got bad reads.
Did I feel bad for him? I don't know if I felt bad for him, but man, give him a heads up. Apparently, Ben and Sara talked it out beforehand. This man is blindsided. And of course, they ask him first.
Love is blindsided. And yeah, he goes first with a resounding yes, because he knows a sure thing when he sees it. And then Virginia has to follow that up with a no, thank you.
She's not ready yet.
Not yet.
Okay, I can't move past the bouquet because it's starting to pop up in my mind again.
Well, and then it was coinciding with Devin's
He had
bustier.
Not a bustier.
So different.
He had a pin that was a D for Devin.
Yes.
And then it had a little feather of some sort coming out of it. And we were like, what is that? And then when we saw the bouquet, the pieces came together.
That made more sense.
What was it?
It
There
looked
was
like-
a feather coming out of it. The ribbon in the front was even weirder.
I used to have a glow stick that was like that, where it was just like a long, like fiberglass material that was it looked like a feather duster.
Yeah.
But then it would light up
Been there,
like that.
seen that.
Yeah. It kind of looked like that. Maybe it was going to light up at the reception. They were saving a show for us, but we didn't get to see that.
Never got to see it.
Had to cancel
in full
it.
effect.
Had to shelve it.
Her parents are shocked.
Oh, no.
Both of them.
I can't believe that. I can't believe that for a second because you talked to her. Do you not know your daughter?
I don't think they do.
How do you not know?
What we saw was
no support.
Not happy, excited to get married, Virginia.
Not good.
And I'll say she's kind of an even-keeled person, but there was an obvious change in her demeanor on her wedding day.
She was down. She was at the final round table and she was making accusations. Okay?
She was trying to fade into the bushes, just hoping it's tomorrow.
Noted change in demeanor.
The niece, we have to hear her.
What's going on? What's happening?
Because this is not a normal circumstance.
No, it's not.
And
Correct.
she's got a front row seat watching it all go down, watching the bride run down the aisle crying.
Everyone's just murmuring.
The groom in tears.
Everyone's just murmuring to themselves, quietly shuffling about. And she's yelling, "What's going on? What is happening? What happened?"
Okay, I did kind of just enjoy the drama. I'm not going to lie, because this is what I expect of this show.
Well,
and they don't deliver on it a lot.
And then they're telling her, she said no. Like she's going to know what that, oh, okay. All right.
This child's going to be traumatized. Every wedding she goes to from here on out, she's going to wonder.
I hope they say yes. I don't know.
I want to talk a little bit about what happened when they part ways, because Virginia's issue is that she is a people pleaser. And we saw that when she got in the car, and she is profusely apologizing for the fact that she said no. And they're like, that's okay, girl. Like, if you didn't want to marry him, you did the right thing by saying no.
Well, that's a nightmare too. Just if you are a people pleaser, I can't imagine knowing that your answer is no and then walking down the aisle and then saying no in front of everyone. I wouldn't have even come out.
It would have come out a yes.
No. If I knew my answer was no, but like I can't do it at the altar, I wouldn't have even.
You would have skipped the pomp and circumstance.
They would have opened the doors and I wouldn't have been back there. I would have been gone.
Well, there's your answer.
Yeah. I would leave a note.
Oh, that's courteous of you.
But it's a bad note.
I didn't like that Devin's mom followed him back and then was like continuing to make it worse.
In what way?
Well, she was really angry. She was upset
that
Virginia said no.
It's a betrayal.
And then couldn't believe it. And it's like, okay, the person who really can't believe it is Devin. So maybe we don't need to harp on that any further.
The shot that still stands out in my mind that just destroys me is when Devin is waiting for the big Escalade to come around to pick him up, to drive him back over to the groom room, I guess, where they got ready. And he is on the sidewalk there, just dragging his coat and hanging. He looked
his
like
backpack behind him.
He looked like a kid who missed the bus and had to get picked up by a family member, like a distant relative who normally doesn't pick him up from school.
Very depressing.
That was the energy that was there. Yeah.
Yeah, he was crushed. The reason that she didn't go through with it was they didn't have enough deep conversations. The politics talk that we got to see, that was as much as Virginia was able to get out of him because he didn't want to talk about it on camera.
We saw the extent of that conversation. It was on camera. That was the only one that they were able to do when they were in bed together and she was dragging it out of him.
There was that, and then we find out there was a check.
And the child mentioned a check.
Never mentioned the check.
Well, Devin never mentioned a check.
She saw Devin's mom at a basketball game, and Devin's mom was very excited and asked if she had heard about the $1,000 check that her boss gave Devin as a gift to them for their wedding. And Virginia was like, no, I have not. And I'm going to hold on to that information and see if Devin ever brings it up, which he never did.
Devin's defense is that it was a wedding gift, so he was going to bring it up after the wedding. Do we believe that? Do we agree with that?
That's a big check. Nobody gave us $1,000. And this is your mom's boss. That's a lot of money. It would have been the first thing. I would have hung that on the fridge when I got home. I would have been so proud of it.
Where in the money?
So excited about it. That's one of the reasons I would have told you.
Okay.
I wanted to know because They didn't ask at the reunion, well, what happened to the check? You didn't get married. Did you cash it? That's what I want to know.
Did it go into the shared joint account? Or, where did it end up?
I hope it went back to his boss or her boss, his mom's boss, whoever
Somebody's
gave
boss.
it to them. Rip that thing up. You didn't get married.
Void.
No, that's probably what happened. The boss voided the check.
I
Called
hope
the
so.
bank the next day.
Yeah, it bounced. Don't worry.
It was a Monday. Good thing they got married on a Monday. He could call the bank as soon as he left.
Joke's on you. There was never enough money in there. You were never going to be able to cash it. So I'm glad that it caused you to say no. But yeah, no problems. She had a couple other reasons lined up, though. That was one of them because I think she had to revert to that. That was like the second or third reason that she gave.
Yeah, the other thing was she saw a note or a letter of some sort on his nightstand.
That felt like it was kind of a reach, a stretch.
Yeah, it was from someone who he had dated in the past, but this person was in his wedding party and they're friends now and they don't even talk about how they ever dated. So, like you said, I think that was a little bit of a reach.
And the note was nothing about like their relationship prior or anything. It was just a friendly support, like checking in on somebody if they dyed their hair pink after a breakup.
Now, so many people are going to be upset with you about that. I'm perplexed because I heard on the internet that Devin had a girlfriend the entire time he was on that show.
Why didn't this come up?
Was this true or is this untrue?
So is that just a misrepresentation of what was mentioned of the ex-girlfriend note?
That's what I'm thinking, but I don't know because so much is hidden from us.
Come on, Lachey's.
Yeah, dig.
Do your work.
Where are all of the internet trolls who have been finding out everything, all the deep, dark, personal secrets? You didn't even need to. The people of Minneapolis have been speaking up and spreading the truth.
Let your voice be heard.
They needed to have like a jury of random 20-somethings from Minneapolis to tell us what the truth is about everybody.
Yeah, like how they had to find a recording studio space that was at least 500 yards away from a school so that Alex could join in person.
We're getting there. I promise. It's not funny. These two tried to make it work afterwards or talk to each other. It's not like they just never spoke again. But there's disagreement over this because Virginia says that she called him for the entire week after the wedding. And then at some point, he just stopped returning her calls.
That was the ghosting. And then he told everyone that she ghosted him.
Right.
Lots of ghosting. And ironically, for Devin, that would also be holy ghosting. So it still fits.
Daniel and Taylor, this one's going to be pretty quick because it goes well. These are the stars of the season.
It was the only wedding that felt like a wedding day.
Yes.
Everything else had looming tension and full of uncertainty. This felt like you received an invite to people who have been dating for years and it was only a matter of time before they tie the knot. And now the day is here and we're just here to celebrate and have a good time.
It was very obvious that there were no nerves about what the other person's answer was going to be. So they were enjoying themselves. They were able to live in the moment and experience the wedding that Netflix is paying for them.
Fantastic. What a great way to do it.
The one thing that I'm going to pick apart about this wedding is Taylor's mother.
Taylor's mom.
Walking into the bridal suite and announcing it's all about her.
We know.
I'm here. It's all about me.
We know, Carol.
This woman is going to be the one who drives a wedge between them.
It's only a matter
She's
of
going
time.
to try her best.
I hope that they get at least a year or two of marriage under their belt before it really comes down to that. But that'll be the big test. If it comes apart, it's going to be something with the mom. That's my bet.
I'm hoping that maybe Taylor has so much built up resentment against her mom, but not in a way that she doesn't have a relationship with her, in a way that her mom doesn't really have a whole lot of pull in like whatever decision she makes in her life, that she will always side with Daniel over her mom. That may sound bad, but I don't think Carol is given advice that is in their best interest, the two of them as a couple together.
No, I don't think so.
Just seen a lot of things that worry me. His sister plays the piano and sings as they walk down the aisle.
I know, Rachel.
And I was fucking sobbing.
Rachel stole the show.
When they said they were going to have a musical guest at the reunion, I thought Rachel's back.
Oh, that would have been so much better than what they did because we just got a weird music video hype discount bin Ed Sheeran. I don't know what was going on.
What happens? These reunions are so padded with garbage, and we watch all of this show waiting for the truth to come out at the end. We are all living for them confronting each other at the reunion, and then we have to watch stuff like that.
The top 5 countdown of the most memorable moments of Love is Blind, which were incredibly mundane moments.
Yeah, I don't get it. Why is there a musical performer? This is not SNL. They both say yes. They're excited about consummating the marriage. These two have not done it. They have not.
The it factor. No, wait, did he have the penguin socks?
I'm sorry, what? He did have socks with googly eyes. No. Joey was wearing penguin socks.
Okay.
He was wearing socks with googly eyes.
Okay, those were the ones that scared me.
Yeah.
The ones with the eyes.
What is with that? Just wear normal fucking socks.
Were they her eyes?
Okay.
Oh, boy.
That is the segue into the reunion.
Oh, my God.
Of course, everything's fine. They've been married a year. They've been through actually a lot in the first year of their relationship. His mom was sick. It seems like she's starting to recover.
That was probably their first big fight about where they were going to have Christmas.
It seemed like it. Did
Even
it
though
not?
They didn't say that, but you know that Carol voiced her opinion how Christmas always happens at their house, and they were going to have to make accommodations because Daniel Tiger's mom was not feeling well. She's not doing well.
She was a little more than not feeling well.
Yeah, she's not doing well.
Yeah. Then he reveals that he did not get the lip tattoo that was promised on the show, but he did get a little something else. And I think he should have gone with the lip tattoo instead.
Yeah, I would have preferred a lip tattoo at this point.
Because he unbuttons his shirt and shows us he got Taylor's eyes. It's not just her eyes. It's the whole, top half of her face.
It's an Instagram photo that has been cropped to a rectangle of eyes and eyebrow.
And the bridge of her nose.
Bridge of nose. So it's just a rectangular shape, too. It's all cut off there. And then the way that it's shaded in, it looks very rectangular.
It's just a rectangle. Yeah, what happened? I did not like it. All I could think about was when they're having sex that Taylor has to look at herself, looking at herself.
Oh, no. Well, that's only if he's on top.
We're going to have to face the other direction.
Yeah, we're going to have to come up with a different solution.
Because I can't see this.
That's not going to work for me.
It was weird. It was giving Amber Portwood's Leah tattoo. Have you ever seen her baby Leah tattoo? Google it.
I don't think so.
Google it and pull it up now.
Oh, no. We're going to get a live reaction here.
I hope these two stay together because how is he going to explain that in another relationship?
Amber Portwood, Leah tattoo. It's hard to tell where this is on her body. Is it on her side?
Don't think about it too much. It is on her
She's
side.
She's pulling her jeans down. I can tell that now. But I got spun around in my head of what body part am I looking at here. Okay, so there's that.
I hope it was a fake tattoo.
The eyes?
The eyes.
Didn't seem like it.
No.
That seemed like it was on there pretty good.
Okay, I can't stop thinking about that. We have to move past it. It's haunting. That's what it is. That's the best way to describe it. Dave and Lauren are at the reunion. He's made some progress, I guess, in that now he realizes that the guy who had been sleeping with Lauren wanted to be on TV, and he made a lot of things up so that he could be part of the story of what was happening on the show. And in hindsight, he realizes that that was in fact the case. And now he feels like he missed out on something really good.
Well, I love Lauren's reaction because she's like, all right, well, it took you a year to get to the point where I told you that when it was happening. So you've made a lot of progress. Good for you, I guess. But that doesn't change anything.
I'm still not sure I believe him. I think that he had to come on the show. He knew that his feet were going to be held to the fire for bringing up his sister all the time and for not getting over this. So he came in with the plan to say, oh, I'm over it now.
Redemption arc. He's the bigger person. He's moved on from this now. Also, please don't bring my sister onto the show. We still can't see her because it would be very difficult for me to put the wig on and then play both characters on stage simultaneously.
Got a Mrs. Doubtfire thing going on?
Yeah, he's at two different tables at the restaurant. Gonna have to go do the Heimlich maneuver on Nick Lachey at some point.
Again, we had to watch all this random shit happened at the reunion, but his sister didn't have to show up here? I expect more.
This is criminal.
Cut one of the songs that you paid all of those royalties for and pay his sister to be here.
And cut the top 5 countdown, because the 5th year anniversary of Love is Blind, how have we had 8 seasons in 5 years? What's the math on
Also,
that?
who cares? 5 years?
Whoop-de-doo, Basil.
I'm not interested. In celebrating the anniversary of a show? Has anyone who's been on this show been married for 5 years? Let's celebrate the anniversaries.
And if you
real anniversaries.
Yeah, and if you watch the show, the clips that they showed, like, they weren't that great.
No.
They were really very boring.
Except for the Megan Fox one.
Megan Fox one was funny.
That was number 5.
That was the 5th one.
Please.
And then there was the catching someone in infidelity. I didn't watch that season. That was a good one, but that wasn't even number 1.
Give us more of that. That's what I'm trying to watch in this reunion.
But stop
I want the
showing
drama.
me clips of great stuff that happened on this show. Make more stuff happen on the show right now, please. That is good.
I guess the way to round this out, I was upset that Lauren went out of her way to clarify that everyone is saying they think Dave's a narcissist, they think he's manipulative, and she doesn't feel like he's any of those things. And then his response was just like, thank you for saying that. But then he says nothing nice in return to her. Nothing like, I'm sorry I didn't believe you. I'm sorry I slut-shamed you on national television for something behavior that I also participate in as a single person.
He did say that she might be the one that got away. So that is the biggest compliment that he can give her. In his eyes, of course, because that doesn't mean jack shit to anybody else.
Yeah. Just annoyed by him completely that he made it the fault of everyone else that this didn't work out. It was his sister's fault, his family and his friends who just didn't want to meet her. It's this guy who had to insert himself into the show and into their relationship. Not his fault, just to be clear. I'm a good guy.
You know who she looked like at the reunion? She looked like Chelsea Peretti. Do you know her?
No.
From Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
No.
Either that or...
I thought she looked good.
The hair was different.
Yeah.
It was darker. Was that better for her
I thought she looked
color? Her color profile for you? Was that better for her?
Her color season? You have to color analyze her.
Oh, God.
All right. The last thing I think we got to cover from the reunion. Nick Lachey looked like a Keebler elf. That's not really where we're going with this. I had to say it. I had to voice it. Madison, Mason, Meg, and Alex make a return. Why?
The leftovers.
Molly was there too. She kind of
Molly,
just, she was there, whatever.
Yeah, she got to interject on a couple of things here and there.
She wasn't the focus of a lot of the conversation. They spent probably, 9 minutes of the episode focusing on the drama between Megan, Mason, and Madison. And who cares? I don't care. They didn't pick each other in the pods. We didn't see any of this play out. I'm not interested. And why is Alex here? With all of the allegations that have come out about Alex, why is he here?
Still
he was like an
platforming.
Optional invitation
They're still
to this reunion.
Yeah, still platforming him. I don't know if he has an ankle bracelet on or if his parole officer knows where he is or...
And they didn't ask him shit about it either.
No, they didn't. They didn't bring anything up about that.
No. Really, this was just Madison's time to shine.
In her eyes.
This was...
In her mind.
She came here ready to have a Real Housewives moment.
She had an agenda
Mhm.
that was playing
Now,
out.
this is where I think people are going to disagree because...
No, you can't disagree with that. You do not stuff printed notes into your bra.
Texts.
Just like texts, stuff from your phone. You don't take screenshots, print them out in a physical format, and then stuff them into your armpit to just bring that up casually. No, you came here with motive. There was motive there.
So the backstory on this is that Mason and Meg did get together after the show. They dated for a little bit. It didn't work out. They decided they're better as friends. But word got back to Alex about the fact that they were together, and then he told Madison. And so these texts are between Alex and Madison. And her whole point is that Alex is talking shit about you to me, so you shouldn't consider him your friend?
I don't think that they are considering each other very close friends necessarily per se.
She didn't like that they were all ganging up against her because her interpretation of how the relationship ended was not what everyone saw play out on TV. And that was brought up. I did think Mason said a few things that were meant to be jabs towards her. But it's weird. It's a year after you guys talked to each other for 2 weeks. Who holds on to this shit for this long?
Well, because then they still run into each other in the bar scenes and they still hear things through the grapevine or bump into each other or whatever.
Petty.
It is petty. It's petty as shit.
I have the text because I'm petty and I got a screenshot of it. So
there was nothing to recount.
I loved how she kept pointing to the emojis. He used the melty face emoji. He used the three skull emojis. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, he's talking shit.
And I don't want to defend Alex, but who cares?
Well, he's talking shit with you because it was weird. I think everybody can agree that Mason and Meg meeting up and doing a reveal with each other in their outfits that they would have worn if they were picked on the show, that was weird. To self-film that and post that online.
I kind of feel like Madison and Alex were upset that they didn't think of that and that they didn't like each other enough to do something like that because they played it at the reunion.
Well, that's the problem, though. Yeah, is that you are both unlikable people, and then you're upset that people don't like you. Stop making enemies, I guess. I don't know. Is that a Cody Brown to Mary Brown solution suggestion, though? Be more lovable, I guess.
So I can't see everything that's in here, but he texted her and said that Meg and Mason got together. They're dating now.
There was nothing in this text.
I'm going to read it to you.
She
texts back, LOL. And then she left this part out, or they cut it out. I definitely have to tease Vanessa about this. What Vanessa is she talking about? Vanessa Lachey?
Yes, of course.
But her and I are close. So that made me question, does she mean Vanessa Lachey?
Yes, of course.
But I wouldn't say anything to anyone. Promise.
Oh, except I'll bring it up at the reunion. That was the other part, is that she's cherry picking information to make Alex look bad. Again, not defending Alex, never going to defend Alex.
But there was so much more information you could have picked from.
She's just cherry picking all this stupid little shit. And then she's also reassuring him, if you read your stuff that you're saying to him, you are promising to not tell this information to anybody. And you're swearing all these things that, oh, it's a secret and you'll keep this confidential between the two of you, and then you're putting it on blast. So shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I did not like that she seemed to insert herself into as many of the stories on the show as humanly possible in this reunion when you're just like a bystander. Like you're someone who didn't get picked past the pods. Why are you making yourself such an important part of the reunion? They had to cut her off. Nick Lachey was just like, all right, let's look at like moment number 3 in Love is Blind history so that she would stop talking.
Which was boring as shit. It was two people meeting up with each other, and I guess that was the beginning of a lifelong love journey. How did that work out? I don't even know who these people were. Couldn't tell you what season it was from. That's how fucking memorable it was.
All 4 of them didn't need to be there. None of them. None of the 4 of them needed to be there. We should have spent more time learning about Dave's sister. We needed to break down more of what happened between Joey and Monica. Why didn't Nicole get to have her moment of redemption to say, I told you this man that there was something wrong with him?
The part that bothered me, this whole back and forth between them where Madison was accusing Meg of speaking for her. And it was like, but you just said that you did that to her in the pod. So it was just a whole weird thing where Madison really doesn't like it when people do things that she does to other people all the time. So that stuff bothers me too.
It was a waste of all of our time when there were 6 episodes of them in the pods talking to each other and then they didn't pick each other. And it was a further waste of our time to watch them talk to each other at the reunion.
Well, because if you cut them out and all of the other filler stuff, then the reunion probably would have been about a solid 30 minutes. If we're being honest.
Then I am going to need someone to start producing the show. And that is where we're going to leave it. If you got to download the Love is Blind game on the Netflix Stories app.
The Netflix Stories app?
It's an app. It exists. There is an Emily in Paris game.
I've seen some of the games. Is that on... Can you just get to it through Netflix on Roku too?
Oh, I don't know.
Maybe?
I don't know. I saw it in the App Store.
Okay. Oh, well, then that might just be a whole separate thing then.
It looks like it's like The Sims, kind of. You know, we're not really interested in this, but Should we play it? Should we play it on the Patreon?
Maybe we'll have to play it.
Because like it has to be stupid, right?
Oh,
We agree
I'm
that
sure
it's not good.
it's going to be absolutely terrible is what it's going to be.
But we had to watch them plug it. They plugged it on the tell-all, the reunion. Well, guys,
maybe that'll be a live thing. Yeah.
let us know what you all think about Love is Blind. Not just this season of Love is Blind, but in its entirety. Did they even talk about the next season?
They did. It's in Denver, Colorado.
Okay, that's what I knew that it was in Denver. I didn't remember them talking about it in the reunion.
No, because they threw to a video and it was football players who were introducing stuff. So it was somebody from the Minnesota Vikings and then somebody from the Denver Broncos.
Oh, who cares? Is anybody going to watch it?
I
I'm
hope
starting
not.
to feel the way I felt about Married at First Sight, where eventually I'm like, this is a complete waste of my time. Why am I doing this to myself?
You know, it wasn't a ADT ad read level yet for me because they did plug the game. And I think that was probably just more of a Netflix thing that they were pushing. Like Netflix wanted them to make sure to mention that. So I don't think I'm at the same level at Married at First Sight. Married at First Sight, it feels producer manipulated, and that's what I don't like. At least with Love is Blind, the casting is what it is, and everybody gets to pick and choose individually.
They're making the choice for themselves if they continue. Whereas you just come into it and Married at First Sight, and that's it. You're getting married.
The thing that I don't like, is that Married at First Sight, it's producer assigned, and then you're just stuck with whoever you get, and it feels like they're intentionally picking people who are not going to be compatible just for drama, which sometimes that's been happening in the pods and in Love is Blind, but it's based on people's own decisions of they make bad decisions for relationships. Bad judge a character.
Yeah, this season, I guess, was interesting because I am hearing people say that it feels like a true reflection of what it is to date right now, that they felt like the guys represented what their personal experience has been, which is that a lot of people are not upfront and honest about what their values are. And you learn that a little too late in the relationship, or that they're just trash.
A lot of that too. Yeah.
You know?
Probably.
A lot of Daves and Bens roaming around. Be careful. Be careful out there.
Well, and Joey's for most people too, because they really didn't like Joey.
The wolf in sheep's clothing of this season.
Cut it out.
I hope you guys enjoyed listening to us recap Love is Blind. We are going to be talking about Gypsy Rose, Life After Lockup. We are panini pressed and ready to start watching. Casey Anthony has made a resurgence to the internet, thinking she's going to be the next Gypsy Rose.
Well, I was laughing because
what?
I saw a TikTok of Lifetime where it was Gypsy Rose thanking people for watching the premiere that's happening this week. And the comments were disabled very obviously because, I think Lifetime is pretty panini pressed right now when it comes to the comments.
Self-explanatory.
Oh, goodness.
Thanks for listening. See you next time.